All right, so no, all right, you're going a bit fast. Go up a little bit more for me. Slow, just go up a bit more. Go up a bit more. All right, so this one here where it says how to create a button group. So scroll down, scroll up a little bit, sorry, to where it says try it yourself. Just scroll up a little bit so you can get that option, right? So there you see, it's showing you how you could get, or you could order two, well, actually three buttons side by side. So you could have borrowed this code here, and then you just need to add the drop down part to it. Now, okay, so I'm not going to actually go through the process of doing that, but I'm just showing you how you could have figured it out really fast. Just borrow this code and just change the words as they are appropriate. There is a easy. I'm not sure what method. Remember, there's more than one ways you can get a result. I'm not sure which method Ashley did, but before I ask her to show us her atom code, I'm going to show you another way that you could have done it using the actual code sample that I sent you. So I'm going to send a link to that code pen. Just a second, let me bring it up here. I'm going to show you a little, not a full thing, but just a little thing that would give an idea of how you could use that. All right, so most persons have at least 3 menu items: home, about, contact us. I think maybe even 4 actually. So that means you'd have had about 4 buttons side by side. So what I'm going to show you here is not going to be complete in terms of how many menu items you would have had, but it's to show you how you'd have manipulated the code. So watch this now. I'm going to paste this code pen link here. All right, so bring up that one for me, please, on the screen. Okay. All right, so I'll minimize the JavaScript block, please, so we could get the most out of the CSS. All right, so basically, if you look at what I did, if you first of all go to the HTML, sorry, so just big up the HTML a bit, yeah. If you scroll down, you see, all right, so I changed the words so that I could identify which button is which. But apart from that, all I did was simply to copy the code. Scroll down a little bit, please, so we can see the rest of the code. All right, so that's pause right there. So if you see there, I'll just put a comment there to show you where the second button started. So all I did was I copied the code. You can use the same class name to style it because you want the buttons to look alike. So that's why it has the same class drop-down content. So remember, you can have the class name duplicated among any kind of elements, but if it's an ID, you can only have the ID once, right? But we're using a class, so we can use it multiple times. All right, so because if I want to have multiple buttons, I just need to have the same code multiple times. The trick here now is how do I get it side by side? So you're seeing the finished result, but let me show you what it looks like. Go open up the CSS section, please. Yeah, as big as it, right? Okay, now if you want to know what does what in a code, just you need to play around with it. I always tell you guys that. So here's an example. So if you don't understand what these color codes mean, just change them to a color name and you can see what color that was affecting. So before you do anything, just hover over the buttons for me, please. The first drop down. Let us see what color. Okay. Yeah, I changed it to orange and then scroll down in the links. And the highlight is yellow. All right, that 04AA6D, change it to another color like pink, for example. We just want to see what part of the element that changes. Green again, really? Okay, so it was the color for the button itself, all right? So, all right, so that particular so that drop button is for the actual buttons, the actual square object card that we call a button, all right? So we know that part is. So these are one of the ways that you can kind of fool around with the code a bit to kind of understand it. But the important part here is go where it says dot drop down, where you have position relative. Okay. Now I put there float left, and if you just take out the float left, you'll see what happens. Just delete the float left. So you see it appear because remember it's a block element, right? And by now I guess people should know what's the difference between an inline element and a block element. So if you but how did I know that this was the class I needed to change in CSS? So put back the float left. Yeah. And I'll show you. So if you go back to the HTML, and scroll up. Now the class is called dot drop down. You can see that it's a class that covers the entire structure that includes the button class and the drop down content, right? So it will float everything up. So I just looked at it and I said, okay, this is a class that wraps around everything in the button in a single button, and then I floated that to the left. So that's another way you could have done it. And of course, if you want to add a third button, all right. So oh, okay, this is where so wait, I take it that because Allison's bandwidth is too slow, she can't share screen either. All right, but let me ask Allison first. Allison, tell us how we'd add a third button to the left of the second drop down. Tell us in the chat here there. We'll just read it. Keep the screen share on for me, please. I think you're trying to open Atom now. All right, no problem. No problem. We're doing that in the meantime. All right, so Alison, what's the first thing that she should do to get another button? You have to type it in the chat. All right, so how you add a third button now? So let's say your menu and a fourth button. I'm not seeing her typing. Is my mic muted? No, it's not. All right, Kara, can you hear me? If you can hear me, just use your mic and tell us how would you add a third button now using this technique.
Sir, your copy.
Copy where?
The class drop down button, first drop down.
Tell us exactly where. You have line numbers on the screen. Use a line number to help us to identify where we must copy from. Can you see the line numbers?
Yes, there. See it highlighted there.
I want to know that's what you wanted and not what Ashley wanted to do. So
no, sir.
All right, and what we do with it now?
To 90. And you paste it.
Where we going to paste it?
29 or 30. Third drop down.
All right, it's already to the left. Can you explain why it's already to the left when you didn't type anything new to put to the left? Why is it already at the left?
Sir, because you have float left. Because it's a block element, I think you said.
So but I had float left for the first two. I didn't type in any float left for the third one. So why did it work?
It's the same class. Drop down.
All right. So in the HTML, go to the HTML and open it up. Open it up. Yeah. So the third one is using the same class drop down, which was floated left. So that's why it will work. So once you do it, and that's the good thing about using the same class, you apply the styling to multiple things, so you don't have to be doing it over and over. All right, so I guess you get the idea of how you do a fourth one. Yes, and then if you mouse over them now, we'll see the drop down effect. So the first one, second one, third one. And of course, you would change the names of link 1, link 2, link 3 to something that actually makes sense. So for example, like if it's a menu of cakes or whatever it is that you'd want to put there.
So, sir,
all right. Yes.
So you see the button that says first drop down, second drop down, third drop down. So we change them to home, contact, and review. Is the button going to still be a button? Because I made it a button because if it have a drop down, yes, but if you want to go to the contact page or that part kind of confused me because say you're on the contact page and want to go home, the button with the drop down that says home, you hit the button itself, or
this is also you confusing yourself here now. Let me tell you why. because all you have to do is put the links where you want it to be. Anybody have the any one of the assignments that of the web page that you did recently? Not the button style one, the one just before this one. You can just paste the code pen in the chat for us. Anybody, can be anybody at all, doesn't matter who. Can be anybody. Just share a code pen of your
Which
of your
code,
recent site.
which atom code you want, sir?
Yeah, I know. I wanted to demonstrate something for your. That's a screenshot you sent a while ago, Cara.
Yes, sir. At 8:10,
Yeah, on the
you
low man, the
want
code pen. A
that?
code pen is a teaching tool. I don't know why you keep complaining about. Alright, I'm gonna show you a code pen going come in handy right now. Nobody don't paste it in yet. All right. Okay, so let me show you it coming handy. I'm gonna go to my work and then bring up the sample page of the assignment that I gave you guys. It had the colored background. It didn't have a picture, but it's fine. View in editor. Here is the link. Let me just paste it here in the chat. All right, so you can bring up that one there now. I just want to make a point here because Cara, and that's why you have to practice with the different techniques because the only way you're getting confused if you don't know what the different sections do. Bring up that code pen for us, please. All right, so when we're clicking on the links here, oh my goodness, listen. For professional development, you're not going to use CodePen. We're just using this as a teaching tool. And you just please come off of this full CodePen thing, no, man. It's just a teaching tool. You will not use CodePen because you can't save the files. You can't save an index file. You can't save a CSS file properly with this. And you can't link. I mean, you can download them. So it's technically not true that you can't save them, but you can't manipulate it properly as you would in Atom. And that's why you won't use it for development. But I'm just using this for a teaching tool. Anyway, let's move on. Wasting time talking about this. If you hover over the links, you can see that they're clickable. So go over the home. Oh no, I didn't make these clickable. All right, so let's make them clickable. So go in the HTML for me, please, where we have the hashtag beside the home. Right. So what I would do, I would type. You can delete that. You type something like home.html because it would be a local site. Although we're not going to actually click it, right? But I just want to put in a page here. And if we go over home now, why not updating? Wait. Let's go over home.html. I'll put a slash in front of the put a slash in front of the home. The one slash in front of the home. Yeah, right there. And go over to the home on the preview. Can you copy the code out and put it in a new code pen for of your own? Because I don't know if it's not updating because it's from my link here. But anyway, you get the general idea. These links here would actually be where you navigate to your page. All right, so what I'm going to ask Ashley to do, bring up her atom with her solution before we go any further. With her solution for the assignment. I don't want to forget and the time run out and I don't want to let her show us. So you had your code pen launching, I think, in the meantime. Let's just see what it looks like here. All right, you have the preview up. Let us see it. Okay, so you have 3 buttons there side by side. Let's hover over it and let's see what it looks like. Okay, so you have a menu there, a menu there, a menu there. All right, fine. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to the HTML now. Okay. All right, so let's see where the classes are made now. So for the first button, we need to go to the first button that has home. Where's the first button? Okay, there it is. All right. Okay, so we have here the list items are not used. Okay, so you realize now that you can do it without using a list because if you go back to the W3, go back to the W3 schools link that I had showed a while ago. I'm going to show you something else that you not need to pay attention to as well. Whenever you're creating any kind of visual effects, when you're web designing, there's multiple ways you can do it. So we've been using the list is a popular way to do it. Now the one with the drop down sample, I think it's somewhere on this page as well. No, close that one. It's on the left menu. Go over on the left menu and you see hover drop downs. Up, or you have to go up to see it. It's at the top, near the top. Yeah. All right, so right, go and scroll on a little bit and click on try it yourself. Yeah, that's it. No, you've gone too far, man. The first try it yourself. Like some, okay, great. Um, so if you notice here, let's look at the menu items. Go to the HTML. They use an embedded style in here so that we can see it. But don't pay that in mind because we use the link sheet to link the style sheet. So notice here, there's no list used here. So there are different ways you can do it. But using a list is a popular way. There's nothing wrong with using a list, but you know that if you use a list, you have to make it inline. Let's go back to the code that Ashley had a while ago. All right. Okay, so can you open your CSS file as well? All right, so I have the index file open the CSS. All right. So let us see where she has the list item styled. All right, so she has a navbar group there. So you see the navbar group there. Let's find it in the HTML. Go back to the index HTML. And let's just see what. Remember, you can give it any names you want, but it's best for you to use names that are descriptive. So her navbar for the button grouping starts at the top there. Where does it end though? Where's the closing? Where's the closing div for the navbar? Where would that be? So this is why I want to encourage you to start using comments in the code because the code is gonna get longer and more complicated as we go along. And right, so put a comment there that says closing for navbar when you have found it, that is. And that's why it helps to indent your tags in a certain way so you can see what lines up with what. You can close the preview for now and just stretch out the screen so we can, yeah, can close that for now. Right, so the navbar, where does it end? That's what we want to find out. Which one of these closing divs is the navbar closing? Kind of tricky to find it now. All right, that's why the indenting structure always helps. So that navbar should be, based on what you have there, should be the second to last. It should be the second to last one, unless there's something else between. Let me see. You have drop down 1, drop down 2. So your navbar should be after drop down 2, right? Because it's 3 buttons you have. Am I correct? All right. So here's the thing now. In terms of formatting our code, even though the code is actually correct, it's going to create a nightmare when later on you want to do changes to it, or if you work on a team of developers and they have to go through your code. So, all right, you can fix all the divs at a later time. We won't ask you to do that now, but can you put a comment to show where the closing for nav? We want to see how far navbar stretches to, what and what is inside of navbar. So put a comment at the end of that. That's where it ends. All right, so put the comment there. You remember to use the comment tag? It's open bracket exclamation minus minus. No, not that bracket. The angle bracket. The same angle bracket. That's curve. That's the parentheses. Angle bracket is the ones that all the elements use. No, dear. The same ones that all the elements, all the tags use. Yeah. Exclamation sign minus minus, and then put the words you want to say. So navbar ends here, something like that. And to close the comment, just put 2 minus and a closing angle bracket. All right, good. So, all right, you can also use comments to comment out a section of your code if you don't want to delete it. Okay. All right, but so now we can see here that everything that starts from there in between is a navigation bar. Okay. So it's going to be styled a certain way. So let's go back to the styling now and see what the nav bar was styled like. All right, so you align item center, you justify content space between, display flex. All right, so comment out the display flex and let's see what would happen to the results. Just or you can delete it, whichever one is faster for you to do. Okay, you can just put it back after. You can either comment it out or delete it. Save and then go back to the preview HTML. All right. Okay, so when you don't have the flex display on it, it pushed it down, right? All kind of crazy stuff happening. All right, you can put it back, but keep the preview on. You can put it back in the styling. Okay. All right. So, but the first part of what I started out with, I'm saying is that if you're not sure how because what is going to happen, let me tell you the reason why I put you through this kind of test, because what you're going to find that even when you're finished your training, there's still going to be things that you will not know how to do or figure out how a particular objective is achieved. And instead of reinventing the wheel, you just need to be able to get that code block. It's like you're building a house, you get your block, you get your cement, steel, and just piece things together, because you can figure out how it works and understand how it works afterwards. All right, thank you very much. You can close the atom, but bring up back the code pen that I shared before. All right, I want to explain a few things here now. You can just close down the CSS and just drag out the HTML so we can see it as wide as possible. We're not really so much concerned about the preview area. Drag out the HTML as wide as possible, please. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so let's start. Okay, this is the very top of it, right? Now, where you have image source, can you just click inside there for me, please? All right, just delete everything that says from the HTTPS right down to the preview, but don't delete the .png. All right, type the word logo. All right, so when you're doing it on Atom locally on your Windows folder, you would have a picture called logo.png in your folder. All right, and then you would upload this afterwards to your web server. I'm going to show you how you can do that on a free site tonight. So that's why this was an important class for you to really be a part of. What else do I want to mention here? Scroll on a little bit for me, please. All right, so there's not much to the HTML there because it's just a few options there. But let's go to the CSS. You can maximize the CSS and okay. So the dot navbar, we understand what the top part does, right? It's going to reset everything to 0 so that you can style it from scratch. Okay, that should be understood. Everybody good with that? You can close off that Skype preview box there that's on the screen. Yeah. Type in the chat or talk on the mic. Anybody don't understand why we use that asterisk? That's the universal selector. It selects everything and it will zero it out. So everything has 0 margin, 0 padding. The font family, we could have chosen any name, but for whatever reason, we're just using that. All right, the nav bar, where we're styling here. Are we just styling the nav bar? What else are we styling here? We have a UL and a LI placed there. Why are we doing it like that? What does that mean? Anybody knows why we have these three things? So we have nav bar, but why we have UL and LI there? Why do we have that? I'm checking the Skype chat, so if you're typing, I'll see it, or you can speak. You can unmute yourself, and I can hear you.
So because
Hello?
you want that to be styled, the list, and that's the code for the list.
So why we didn't do it in a separate styling?
Because it based on the class you're working with.
Right, so we're styling the unordered list that is a part of navbar, and we're styling the lists that are a part of that unordered list, so everything flows. You understand? So navbar is a class, but we don't want to style all ULs. Because there could be other lists on the page, right? But we only want to style those that belong to navbar. That's why we do it like this. And that means that whatever we style it as here, it's going to make that change. Bring up the preview section a little bit more. We want to see it a little bit now because I'm going to fool around with it a bit here and show you something. All right, so where you have the home about, just hover over it a little bit for me, please. Okay, so you have that. Okay, great. It's just changing color. All right, take out the display inline block. Let's see what happens when you take that out in the CSS. All right, so notice that the menu structure, it goes back to block format. And why is that? Can anybody tell me?
Sir, because it's a block element without you putting the...
Wait. What is a block element? You have to give us a complete
Oh,
thought.
the word.
What is a block element?
Text?
Huh?
The word, sir.
Which word?
The whole
List.
service contact us.
List.
No. Okay, hold on there a little bit. You have to identify when we use the word element or tag or class. You have to identify what you're talking about. So go again. Try again.
Sir, the list in the top part there, the header, the list is block element. Is a block element. So if you don't put inline, it's going to stay block.
All right. So that makes sense. What you said a while ago. Everybody understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, just to be extra tonight, because I'm going to be really, really extra tonight. You can find this on W3 Schools, but I'm going to give you a section here that would be important for you to note. So just in case, you don't need to know all of these, but you can, and that's what I'm saying. You just need to refer to W3 Schools. All of these tags that I just posted in the chat, all of those are block tags. That means that if you put content in them, they're gonna stack one on top of the other. All right. So if we don't style them inline, it's not going to go side by side. All right. There's a couple other things I don't want to comment on tonight, but the most important thing I want to do tonight is show us how to get our site online so that we can share it with our friends and, of course, when we're doing our professional work with our customers. All right, so we're going to sign up for a service called Github. And because Ashley is doing it here, I guess she'll be the first one, unless the rest of you have a fast enough connection you can follow along. So you can just go to Google. If you don't know how to get to the address, you can just type in GitHub or whichever search engine you want to use. No, you need to pay attention to this. Or you can watch the replay because I'm going to tell you the truth. So click on the first link. GitHub is not user friendly, but it's a free way to host your website online, so that you can see what it looks like when you access it from the internet. All right, you're going to go to sign up. As I said, the replay should be available, but just pay attention now, just the same. So your username has to be unique. It doesn't have to be a real name. And by the way, I'm not sure if the password is hidden by default. Just type in some foolishness to see if the password is hidden by default. I don't want it to... Okay, it's hidden. All right, great. So just in case there's a password you like to use, you don't really need to know. I'm going to have to be more creative than that. All right. But keep it... Well, all right. If you have more than one Gmail, you don't have to be too strict about the username. You can always come back and make a new one, all right? So don't stress it too much if you have another Gmail, all right? But if this is your official Gmail for classwork, then use something proper. All right. I mean, it's not really too private though, so I guess you could have used any little password. Yeah, that's an annoying thing. It's the bottom left one is a spiral galaxy. The bottom left, yeah. Don't know how they expect everybody to know these things. The middle one, yeah. Yeah, that one. All right, create account. All right. Okay, you can say student. That's fine. You don't really have to fill out this right now, but you can just Scroll down. Complete. Just complete. Yeah. All right, you need to go into your email for verification. Because they want to make sure that your account is not you're not spamming them, so it's a real person, whatever. All right, so verify will take you back to the site. All right, no man, look at them give actually a Red Bull tonight, man. We move so fast, man. Go easy, go easy. Whoa. All right, now this main page here, right, is this main page here is where you're going to start most of what you're going to be doing. All right, because I want to make sure I do this in the way that you're most likely going to be able to reproduce the steps. Here we go. We're going to go on the top right where is that plus sign. There's other ways to do this, but I'm just going to give you a universal way, okay? And you're going to create a new repository. Don't bother ask me what that means. Just follow the steps for now to get your website hosted for free. You're going to give it a name. In this case, we can call it, we can make more than one repository. So we can call it, what was this project here? Let's just call it website one. It doesn't really matter. You just need to give it a unique name. All right. Now, the owner's name that you see there, in this case, Lisa Lee 234, is going to be important, but you don't need to memorize that because it will always be in your account. Now, you're going to keep it at public, so don't change that option there. All right. Now, you're going to add this readme. You see where it says initialize this repository? You're going to add that. This is just going to make sure that the repository has a file in there. Why that is important, trust me, don't bother ask me to explain that right now. Let's just move on. It's just something you have to do, all right? Trust me for now. Now, your next step is to click on the Create Repository button, that green button there. All right. Now, here now is the part where we actually do some work now. So we need to add our files to this repository so that we can later on see it. So where it says Add File, you're going to click on that, and you're going to upload files. All right, so you're going to go choose files, and if you can find any one of the website projects that you want to upload, that has a finished thing. Full of website though. All right. No. Okay. So this. Okay. So this one here. All right. So this you want to add these, right? So you can select all those files one time. You can use the mouse or use the keyboard, whichever way works, and just click open. And it will upload all of them one time instead of doing it one. All right, so you see it's uploading 2 of 10, 5 of 10, 6 of 10, 7 of 10, 10 of 10. All right, scroll down to the end of this. All right, now here we have to just pay attention here. You don't change anything here. You leave it on saying commit directly to the main branch. Just click on commit changes. Whenever you make an adjustment, they use the word commit. Anyway, just click on the green button that says commit changes. All right, but we're not going to see our site as it is right now. We have to do one other step to get our site viewable. There's a feature we have to turn on. So if we can just have the Energizer Bunny keep still for a moment, or Miss Red Bull. All right, good, thank you. Now you see that link that says settings above the code button? You're gonna go there, that little gear icon that says settings. All right, good. And you're gonna scroll down slowly. All right, on the left of these options, this is something that says pages. Click on that. Good. All right, now this section here, pay attention carefully, okay? You don't want to mess this up or else you're going to have to start a new repository, which is not a problem because it's a free account. All right, you see where it says none? You're going to click on that box there. Move very slowly. All right, just choose main. All right, that's all you have to do. Just choose main because the main that the files are in. All right, so don't do anything yet. Don't touch anything yet. All right, just scroll down slowly. All right, slowly go down. All right, you don't want to choose a theme or anything. You can save that, by the way. what you just selected a while ago. All right. Now it's gonna give you a link, everybody, and this is where you would see your website. So don't do anything yet. Just hold on, listen. When you want to share your website, if you want to share it with your friends and family, or potential clients or whatever, you could do that. The link that they gave you says your site is ready to be published. You can right click on it and open a new tab because we don't want to move from this screen here. That would be the site where your page will be hosted. Let's look on it. So you see what you have there? You have a free hosting there. Now let's click on the links and see if they work. Did it go to any? It changed the page. All right. Did that work? Or did you have text on the page, or was the page intentionally blank? Oh well, all right. It seems to be working because the links are changing the pages. All right. So you see here we have our website hosted freely. Of course, this is not the way we would actually have our website live like this, but this is just for development purposes. All right. It's a free way to host your website. Let's go back to the pages tab that we were on a while ago. Scroll down for me, please. All right, so you don't change anything here. You don't touch nothing, not a thing you don't touch here. All right. And one thing to bear in mind though, you see if you're in Atom, go back to the main page of GitHub. Go back to the main page of this GitHub screen. You have to scroll up. No man, go back on you can get there from here. You can get there from there. When you go back to your repository, it's only one you have there, the Lisa Lee. You see there on the link is on the left. There's a shortcut there on the left to get there, yeah. If your code pen, sorry, not if your code was done that you have the images in a folder that is linked to it, you'd have to create a folder in GitHub. So I'm going to ask you not to make it complicated on yourself to put it in a folder right now. I can show you how to add a folder, but it's more work. So it's better if when you're doing the files in your Atom. Open back your Atom after I show them this. Okay, not right now. It's already open? It takes a while to load sometimes, or unless your computer is fast. All right, just go to the index. I want to see where you have an image link just to explain what I'm talking about. Okay, like she has that image there called kd.jpg. Notice that it is not in a folder. It is in the same. It will sit beside where the index.html is. All right, but if she had it in an images folder now, for example, and it was images/kd.jpg, then you'd have to create a folder on GitHub. Let me show you how to create the folder on GitHub, but hopefully you won't need to do this because it's just more work. You can create the images folder when you're doing your full-out professional project, but it's just more work right now and it's not necessary. How you do it, you'd go add file, like you did before, right? And you go to upload files. There's two ways you can do it. You can go upload files, you can go create new file. Choose files, like we did before. This is to create a folder now in GitHub. But you'd have to create it with something that has a folder here now. We don't have a folder here now, so we can't do it that way. Okay, so cancel. So you're gonna cancel on this box here, on the screen here. So you're gonna go back to where you have the files, go back to the previous screen. We don't have any folders in that screen, but I'm gonna show you. Go to add file and create new file. All right, so give it something, a folder name like images, say something like images, then put a slash, and then type something like readme.txt. It doesn't really matter, just need to have a file in there. I don't know what is that .txt, you know, but anyway. All right, so let's go ahead and enter. All right, so if we go back to, if we go back to the repository now, go back to the repository homepage, the website one. Yeah, if it's okay, you can leave. Wait, we didn't save it, cancel. Scroll down and save it. And commit new file. We have to commit the changes. I know that GitHub is complicated, but I'm just trying to show you how it is like. Go back to the website one. So now you see that there's a folder called images there, but you had to create a file for the folder to be created. So what I'm saying to you is that you have to go through all these steps to add a folder. Then you have to open the folder. So click on the folder. For example, click on the images folder. And then you'd have to upload. You see where it says add file now? You'd have to add the images there. Remember, you'd only do this if you had your images stored in a folder separately. Okay, hope I'm making sense, everybody. That's here with me. So if you don't have your images linked in a folder, you don't need to do this, but I'm just showing you how you would create a folder if that's the structure you had, and the website would still work. All right, but anyway, you probably want to try this out for yourself now. Ashley has already done it because she has been sharing her screen, so she's gotten the practice. So I'm going to end it right here, so you can all upload whichever site you want on your GitHub account. If you make a mistake, just create a new repository. Don't try to fix it because it is really, it's not a user-friendly tool, but it's a very powerful resource because you can share your work with developers around the world, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, you can get to it, everybody, and host your site. And when you share this link with them, so for example, if you want to share it, send it on WhatsApp, you can send a link on WhatsApp and people can view your site. Okay, so this is totally different from using CodePen now, because with CodePen now, it's just a preview. This is the actual site being hosted. All right, so there's a mouthful said in today's class. As usual, please review the video after it's uploaded. All right, we're not going to do anything else tonight. All right, so but don't go just yet. I need to make an important announcement to our timetable now. I gave a preview of it in the call that we did on Telegram, but because I know that Vindel wasn't there, and just to remind us, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? Oh, is the chat error looking fine and then they're searching